we're joined by Scott Belcher, CEO and President of ITS America. Scott, thank you for joining us at today's symposium.
I'm thrilled to be here. This is a very important topic.
Well, the New England University Transportation Center and the AgeLab, working with USDOT funding and industry and ARP and Healthways funding, has put together this symposium to understand the cutting edge of new technology where it meets older adults. Could you tell us a little bit about ITS America and where you fit into that overall equation?
Sure. Most of your funders are, in fact, ITS America members. ITS America is a public-private nonprofit organization with about 450 members. Half of those are public sector members, state DOTs, universities like MIT, transit organizations, metropolitan planning organizations, NGOs like AARP and NRDC and Environmental Defense Fund. The other half are the private sector companies that range from the OEMs, the automobile manufacturers, to their providers, to people who do cell phone applications, folks who do infrastructure, folks who do mapping, and everything down to traffic lights. So it's an organization that's all focused around the use of smart technology to address transportation problems. We're not focused on advancing technology, we're actually focused on advancing technology to solve problems, not as a means to an end.
And one of those problems, or at least one of those challenges in the coming years, is the aging of the baby boomers. One of us is now going to be turning 65, one every 7 seconds. Can technology keep us mobile and safe?
I think it can. I think there are challenges, obviously, and we're seeing that playing out right now with Secretary LaHood's focus on distracted driving. And I think that's a microcosm of the larger issue. Technology certainly can help keep drivers safe, and we need to do what we can to make sure that we do focus on bringing that technology into the vehicle that can keep drivers safe without distracting them. But information that provides people with real-time traffic information, routing, time to distance. Those are things that can help the driver. There's a whole slew of information that's being built into the vehicle to protect the driver. Lane departure warnings, rear collision warnings, advanced cruise control, braking systems. Those things all can help the driver. And I think the important thing is to continue to bring that ITS technology, that smart technology that protects the driver while still allowing the driver to stay in control of the vehicle.
That's great. Now, turning away from inside the car to shall we say the big picture outside the car, there's a change in Washington. What's the policy outlook look like for ITS America?
Well, I think it depends on whether you're an optimist or a pessimist. The glass is half empty or it's half full. We had a transformational change in the electorate in the last elections. We've seen the House go historically Republican and change in a way we haven't seen since 1948. So you now have a strongly Republican House, a pretty close to even Senate. You've got most of the states are now governed by Republicans. And so it will cause some really interesting dilemmas, and it will change the way we do business. The new leadership in the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, Mr. Micah, is much more restrained than Congressman Oberstar was. Mm-hmm. So I think you'll see a smaller bill, not necessarily less visionary. I think you'll see smaller. And I think with respect to research and the kind of things that we care about, I think it's really not necessarily a bad story. Research is going to continue to be important. You're seeing research on the private side from the OEMs. You're seeing research from the telematics providers and from other folks who are trying to drive these same issues. And I think as the states continue to be restrained in their financial resources, they're going to look for new and innovative solutions. So rather than building new roads, they're going to look for ways to use things like ITS and technology to make the roads to give the roads more capacity and to make the roads safer.
Sounds like ITS research in the future will be more in the spirit of a public-private partnership, given the differences in Congress between industry and government. Does that seem to be fair? I think that's
fair. But both in the House of Representatives, we've got an ITS caucus, right. And both the Democrat and Republican leader were reelected, and they're both really. I think they both see the value in ITS research. And ITS America, in its authorization proposal, is looking to grow the research budget for the Research and Innovative Technology Administration from $100 million to $250 million a year. And the House caucus, which has got over 40 members, all are supportive of that initiative.
So let me ask a multi-billion-dollar question. Any ideas of when the bill might see the light of day?
I think there are three opportunities. The first is in the lame duck. I think that's highly unlikely. The amount of time they're going to be in Congress keeps shrinking. I think you've got a small window of opportunity in the next Congress to try to get it done in the first 9 months. After that, then you're in a presidential election cycle, and then I think you're probably not until probably halfway through the president's second term. I do think you've got a chance next year because I think Mr. Michael wants to pass a bill. He wants to pass a smaller bill, and I think what we've seen is through the TARP funding and through some of the other funding that one area that has produced new jobs and produced green jobs has been transportation. Yeah. And so I think both Democrats and Republicans agree that this may be an opportunity to create some jobs.
Let's turn to something that we can control. I understand you have the ITS upcoming Congress in Orlando, Florida this coming year. Tell us about that.
Well, ITS America hosts the ITS World Congress every 3 years in the United States. We did it 2 years ago in New York. We had 8,500 attendees. This year it'll be in Orlando, Florida. We're expecting well over 10,000 folks. We'll have the General Motors Envy, which is their autonomous vehicle that they highlighted at the Shanghai World's Fair. We'll be demonstrating safety technology, mobility technology, sustainability technology. So there'll be a big technological focus. And we'll have a very strong educational focus. And then finally, as we did at the last ITS America annual meeting, we'll have a major focus on policy. At the last meeting, we had the Secretary of Transportation, 6 of his modal administrators, all there for 3 days, really seeing what technology can do to make transportation safer.
That's great. Scott Belcher, ITS America, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.